Welcome to the Tank Podcast. In this week's episode, Claire Ducharme speaks to filmmaker Sky Yang on their film Sunny, which featured in Act 2 of Bad Bias, a multidisciplinary event held at the Horse Hospital in London in March 2026, exploring the lasting impacts of anti-Asian racism during the pandemic through art and live performance.
They called him Sun, because of his sunny face. Eyes smiling wide through to his cheeks. At one he chuckled, spluttered out words. Meek, tender, whole, and embraced. A grinning baby, a grin so divine. He still sees the world through those shiny bright eyes. He tickles discordant notes on the piano. See how far he's come, how much he's grown. Cheeky hands waving, cackling as he roamed the garden. Sun on Sun's face. He dabs his feet and wiggles his hips as Marvin Gaye plays.
Today I'm speaking with Sky Yang, filmmaker and actor, about his short film Sunny, which was featured in the Bad Bias film program. The film was previously screened at the BFI Future Film Festival, Milk Tea Mixtape, South London Film Festival, Crystal Palace International Film Festival, and Flick Fair. So, Sky, you mentioned to me that you wrote Sunny in the shower. Can you tell me a little bit more about how that first came about and how the idea developed?
Is that how I introduced Sunny to you? Yeah, I did. That's not a lie. I wrote it across a few weeks when I think I was feeling shameful, I guess, about things about my own ethnicity and where I came from and my lack of knowledge about it. And it'd been stuff that I've been going through for a while. And so I kind of almost, it sounds really, really kind of cringy, but I almost needed a sort of little mantra to get myself through the day. And so I just started to make this sort of little spoken word piece in the shower, which I just sort of say in the shower before I went to school. Yeah, and then it kind of just developed from there. I sort of figured I wanted to sort of put some visuals to it, to kind of put it in a place where I could actually see it. And it felt like my cousin had been visiting Mexico and making these giant paper mache masks. And I thought they were really cool. So I kind of semi-copied him, and I bought a giant balloon and I just paper mache this mask. And I went out with my friend and we didn't really know what we were getting. We just wandered around the streets of London. I think it was quite early in the morning. So we got a lot of sort of quite lonely looking sort of landscapes or isolated landscapes, and we basically just shot a load of random stuff. It was a lot of just sort of finding different interactions and also wanting to see how people interacted with this head, and then it became just more about the head and what was going on in Sunny's head.
How did people react to it, like when you're walking around and everything?
It was fun. Obviously, people stare, and some people sort of tapped it in curiosity. I found it sort of emblematic of just what a little bit look like myself, or I guess walk through the world being a little bit mixed race. That people are kind of sometimes curious, sometimes like a self-imposed thing where you feel like people are being judgmental. But there's always quite an observational eye. And so I was just kind of curious about that.
Did you name the head Sunny, or was that already part of the poem?
So it was part of the poem. It was a character called Sunny, I've actually got the book literally right here. That's actually just a complete coincidence. I wrote Sunny. It was based on Sun Yat-sen and some of the Chinese rulers who I sort of read about in this book. So sorry, that's where the name came from. But then a lot of the sort of history behind the more historical elements, like very loosely historical, obviously it didn't dive into it massively. Parts of the poem were sort of found from this book. It's called From the Ruins of Empire by Pankaj Mishra.
That's what Sunny, the poem, came out of, in a way.
Yeah, well, I guess the poem came out of my own personal experiences, kind of in school and feeling alienated and feeling othered. But then a lot, I think Sunny's journey, if you just really want to streamline it, can be boiled down to a kid coming to understand where he's come from in order to take the step forwards to understand where he wants to go next in life. And part of that is like recognizing his past and not feeling so ashamed and coming to learn that actually it's not what you've been told about people who are East Asian. I think the representation of people who are East Asian is often very timid, shy, self-effacing. Me, there was just so much history which that was what I had sort of received from Western media, and then really getting into the actual history and stuff like the Tank Man, which is the video that Sunny sees, and seeing it's kind of as stupid as like just seeing Chinese people do brave things and do things which I find admirable was enough to sort of give me a bit of like a sense of pride. And so I sort of gave Sunny that sense of pride as well.
When you say the Tank Man, do you mean
Yeah,
Tiananmen?
Tiananmen Square. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was based off. I saw this play, and that was the first time I'd seen people who looked like me on stage. It's called Chimerica, and it's by Lucy Kirkwood.
Somebody, well, during the film screening,
Mm,
a viewer mentioned that it's really weird because she never sees familiar names or familiar faces or just, yeah, I mean, she specifically said names, like last names in performance. And
yeah,
when she was looking at the tech for the different films screened, it made her really feel something because she was finally seeing names that she could identify with. And she, it
yeah.
was weird because it was so close to home for her and like very hard hitting. But I guess it's like you said, it's not something that's really platformed so much. So is that why you made the shift from acting to filmmaking as well? Like was this an exclusive thing that you decided to do for this purpose?
Not really. It was just a selfish thing. It was kind of as simple and as unclever as just like I had some stuff which I was confused about and I felt just needed processing. And my way of doing that was to just put it in front of myself in words. Sometimes poetry is such a fast flowing vessel to expression and like kind of unjudgmental expression. Did you, especially because you think it's just for yourself? Like I didn't really make it for anyone else. I just made it for myself. And so it was just, yeah, it was just a time capsule into that. Filmmaking has definitely helped make me feel like I have a bit more agency. It's definitely made me feel like I can tell stories which intrigue me and are interesting and different and push the boundaries of things which um, are a little less expected or provide maybe a new lens to stories we may or may not have heard before. I think I would feel very powerless otherwise.
Did Dear Google come out of Sunny? Is that a follow-up in a way?
Yeah, totally. I had this like little piece which I'd written, which I sort of pieced together from different journal writing and entries and thoughts that I'd had about more about like the sort of school grounds dynamics. And I basically thought maybe it could be interesting to use Sunny almost as like this little alter ego to convey a lot of the things that I feel, which I might feel too scared to actually say to a camera, but I can say it from behind this mask. I think the beauty of the mask is that it's sort of what people project on Sunny and the way he hides himself as well. There's a sort of like defensiveness to it there's a sort of armor to it in that I think when you're hidden, you can end up expressing things more honestly. And I think you see that in the valence of the internet as well, and in quite a horrific way. I really wanted to get inside Sunny's head during this sort of time of like weird playground dynamic and feeling kind of confused and lost.
So I know you said Sunny's kind of selfish, but I mean, I guess at the end of the day, there is something you want people to take away from him then.
I've realized that I so often set out to try and it's really hard to kind of want a result from something and then actually achieve the result. And actually I've realized people just take such random things from the films that I make. I hope people just take what they like, whatever they need to take from it and what they want to take from it. I hope it reflects back to them, not just stuff to do with ethnicity, but like loneliness and feeling like an outsider and wanting to connect with other people and wanting to feel seen and wanting to feel heard and all this stuff for sure. But also, if all you take from it is that was a weird film with a guy in a giant paper mache mask, that's also okay.
How'd you get involved with Bad Bias? Like, how did the film become part of this screening?
Um, they were incredible and they actually just messaged me totally out of the blue. I just got an email.
Oh,
Um, saying that they want to screen it. It was like one of those things which you just feel very lucky. Yeah, it's just you normally have to sort of pay a lot of money and really fight for your film to be seen. And so for someone to just come along and say, "Hey, do you want to share your film?" is just always an instant yes. Yeah, it's just if you, especially after I made it in like 2020, so after so many years, for it to still be getting some sort of life and people still be, watching it, engaging with it, is just really, really heartwarming. For context, Sunny was um, a a poem that I wrote that I decided to turn into a short film and put sort of moving images to it, and I didn't know anyone really in the film industry apart from my friend Ben, who when um, I was in school and he was 2 years below me, and we used to go back home on the bus and talk about films non-stop. So he was the one who I called on to help me shoot this thing. And he's such a talented director and filmmaker in his own right. He's gone on to do an absolutely astounding piece of work. He shot it.
Benjamin Bainbridge.
Benjamin Bainbridge. Definitely check out some of his stuff. It's really, really experimental and interesting.
It's a bit of a coming of age story in a way, no? Like all in one.
Yeah, totally. That's a great way of describing it. Like a coming of age film about, I guess like loneliness is a big part of it as well, and that kind of isolation.
Is your practice as an actor, did that kind of like impact the way you made the film, or was the film purely just like a passion product?
At the time, it completely did, because at the time of Sunny, or just sorry, just just before I made Sunny, we were doing mask work in drama school. Um, and I started watching all these people wearing these masks and seeing how expressive masks could be, which feels kind of counterintuitive. They feel, when you see a mask, it seems still and dead, but once it's on a body, um, I realized that by hiding your face, your body ends up expressing more. And I was really intrigued by that sort of idea. And so I kind of just got a bit obsessed with masks for a period and just made like 5 different masks. And one of them was Sunny.
To hear more podcasts from Tank, you can subscribe on all major podcast platforms or follow us on SoundCloud. The theme music for this podcast is by Himera.